Ceres is a pizzeria in the Lower East Side. Julian and I met working at 11 Madison Park. It's a fine dining restaurant in Midtown with 3 Michelin stars that in 2016 was rated the best restaurant in the world. We don't have any investors. We got like $2,000 left in our bank account and about $250,000 in credit card debt. When we opened this place, we did it with the intention to make the best pizza that we can, and the response has been crazy. It's consistently out the door. It's really been a blessing. Good morning, guys. My name is Jacob. I'm an owner-operator here at Ceres Pizza. It's 6:30 in the morning right now. Time to make some pizza dough. So first step is to get started on dough production. Just gonna weigh out some of the ingredients. Consistency is the number one thing for us here. 6 kilos of sourdough starter, and this will be used to make approximately 150 pizzas. So we use this organic 00 flour from Utah. Central Milling just does a really good job of making a consistent product. This is Julian, my business partner, who's stealing the flour from me. This is an organic whole wheat flour. Plays a pretty important role in the texture. Flavor too. This is an organic bolted flour. It's like a whole wheat flour that's been sifted to remove some of the larger pieces of bran. So the bolted flour imparts like a nice savory, like malted flavor, while also imparting a lot of strength. When it comes to like planning out a day, we just have like a very hard deadline. Obviously working at places like 11 Madison Park, they put a real emphasis on this, so it certainly helps. Julian is over here. He started the dough mixing process.
This mixer is great because the bowl spins itself in both directions and has this very important breakup bar in the center of the mixer right here, which helps break the gluten structure that's building when the dough is mixing. Just helps us get a more even mix than any other traditional mixer would. Very small changes in temperature will affect the dough, and because you have that breakup bar, you minimize the amount of time that the dough spends in the mixer. Therefore, you create less heat. We're trying to control all the variables here. We record the weights of every single flour. We record the ambient temperature. We record the weight of the starter, the temperature of the water that we used. If something goes wrong, we can go back into the dough log, look at the previous day, and see what was slightly off. We gotta call the plumber, the drains. What do you mean? It's draining when it's closed. Oh no, I fixed this problem. Okay, but also this. It's dripping a lot of water coming out of there. The water is draining when it's not supposed to. Because we're on such a tight timeline, we got to call the plumber right now. Fix it. And that doesn't change that there's a lot of water dripping out of this. We did not fix it. This is an old building in Chinatown. It's been around for almost 100 years at this point. We have a lot of maintenance challenges. We've been learning about HVAC and plumbing and electricity ever since we opened this place, and it's been awesome. Stare at the drain for a little bit. Yeah, stare at the drain. We got about 25 minutes left of the... It's not dripping. Stop dripping. Does I fix it? How? What happened? Smart guy. What happened? What happened? Plumbing smart guy. What did you do? Magic. Tell me right now. I just fixed the drain. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. It's been 30 minutes, so it's time to add the salt and get the dough mixing. We like to use sea salt in the restaurant because there is a mineral content in the sea salt that I think adds more than just salinity. So Julian and I met in 2019. We were working at a restaurant called 11 Madison Park. Julian was my sous chef, which means he was in charge of me. I was making cheesecakes and making souffles. Yeah, I've never spent so much time with anybody. I hear this guy breathe sometimes. Yeah. But we both have like the same passion for just like using the best ingredients. I think something that we're really proud of, like this area of the restaurant, even though it's not the prettiest, we don't have any products that we can't defend tooth and nail. I don't have to justify why we need to spend $55 a liter for olive oil. Yeah. So we use 2 different types of olive oil here. One is a little bit cheaper, which is still a great olive oil. It's from Buonitalia. It's an extra virgin olive oil. Then we have a finishing olive oil. This particular one is the 4th finishing oil that we've settled on. It's from Tuscany, just like a very clean, distinct flavor, which is great for finishing our pizza. Now we're just gonna take the dough out of the mixer. We're gonna do 27 kilograms per bin. We make sure that each bin is consistent in weight so that we can get a visual idea of like how much gas is in the dough as it ferments. So now we have all the bins weighed out. We're at 27 kilos each. First step after they come out of the mixer is to just give them a quick initial fold
Folding bread dough is about building additional strength, making sure that the dough is strong enough to withstand the fermentation, organizing the structure of the dough. So we take the temperature.
78.4, right?
0.4, yeah. The next step here is going to be to take the pH of the dough. Just rinse it in a little bit of distilled water. And we're looking for somewhere around 5.6. So we're at 5.65 right now. The higher the number, the less acidic. So we're looking for that number to drop to somewhere around 5.4, 5.39 before we actually cut. The acid is an indicator of how much food the yeast has consumed. So the more gas that's in it, the sort of more difficult it will be to roll into balls. And then that sort of extends into the next day. If it's difficult to roll into balls, it will be difficult to shape into a pizza. We'll get these like thick spots and thin spots, which is sort of the enemy of consistency even across a single pizza. What's next, honestly, would be some like small task like cutting chives. It's 8:30. We have 30 minutes before we have to check on the dough again. So just doing some miscellaneous mise en place, cutting some chives for the white pie. We have 5 different pizzas that we make here at Ceres. Cheese pie, arandilla pie, tomato pie, mushroom pie, and then we have a white pie. It's in the style of a tarte flambe or a flam.
Flammkuchen?
I have, my mouth doesn't really make that sound. We use creme fraiche product that we get from Kendall Farms, and then we use pancetta, onions, and we finish it with chives. It's sort of like our take on this like classic Alsatian or German tart.
So while Jacob slices chives, I'm gonna start making the tomato sauce. We tested a lot of tomatoes. We decided to use San Marzano tomatoes. Passata is an already milled tomato. A lot of the water is removed from the tomato, so it's too thick. Therefore, it's a way more intense, rich flavor. That's why we decided to use Casamarazzo plum tomatoes, and we'll mill those, and we'll use the tomato juice that's in the can. The food milk allows us to have an even consistency of the plum tomatoes. If you use a blender, you basically lose control of that. And this just adds another layer of control over the texture. And this way we can ensure that the sauce is the same every single day.
It makes a product that is like easy to distribute on the pizza. Anthony Mangieri at Una is another guy who makes awesome pizza. I remember him saying San Marzanos have this like green strawberry like level of acidity, which in combination with mozzarella and scamorza create a pizza that is like salty, but that you can also eat a decent amount of because the acid sort of helps you not be bogged down with the amount of salt that we put in it.
We're gonna let it sit in this container just to make sure that the salt gets absorbed evenly into the sauce.
It's 8:55. I have 5 minutes before I have to go check on the dough again. But we have our pizza boxes all have stuff that needs to be filled out on them. The type of pie. So this one is going to be a cheese pie. And then pie. So this is like both Julian and I were the only two making the pizza right now.
The goal of this was to basically motivate whoever in the future is going to make that pizza to put the best product out there that they can. Also, what we're super proud of are these little like NYC vents here, which ensures that the steam is not trapped in the box and kind of maintain the crispiness of the pie.
So now we're at the point where Julian is going to be upstairs preparing for service, getting the station ready. I have to spend a little bit more time down here, finishing up the dough process, making sure that we're all good here. We came downstairs and noticed that our HVAC down here wasn't working, so we're going to have a technician come by and see what's going on. We got about 30 minutes left until we got to cut the dough. I was just talking to our HVAC guy, trying to get it a little bit colder down here. But in the meantime, I'm going to grate some of this scamorza. It's like a low moisture mozzarella that we use for the majority of our pizza that we have made for us by a small farm in Branchville, New Jersey called Jersey Girl. These are aged for about 2 weeks in a cave. Just like makes a product that has all sorts of nuance that you don't get from commercial manufactured plant. I think it's like a huge part of the reason that our pizza is what it is. Julian is upstairs, making sure that we're all ready for the rush to come. I'm just down here grating through the rest of this cheese. Our sink's broken. You got a wrench? We try to build in time for things like this, which is difficult because you never know how long something like this is going to take. You know, behind me right now, our HVAC being repaired. Once 11:45 hits, it's sort of a non-negotiable that both of us be upstairs. It's just bad. It just feels bad.
You need to change the whole unit.
How much does one of these cost? many thousands of dollars. No. This is broken. I'm gonna go see if I can do something about it. I'm gonna go to the plumbing supply store.
You're going there now?
Okay. It's 10 o'clock. Julian is baking off the first few pies. Just realized the part that was broken in our sink. I'm gonna go see if I can get a new one at the plumbing supply store.
So what we're gonna start with, we have the sieve here with rice flour. And so the rice flour doesn't stick to the pie, it doesn't give that cakey, burnt flour on the bottom. We have our dough tempering here. If the dough is too cold, it will prevent us getting good oven spring. Oven spring is how much the crust of the pizza rises while it's baking. And then we form the crust, trap that air in the dough, and then the rest of the pie kind of gets flattened out. We'll flip it up. We want to make sure it's nice and even. We'll kind of let the weight of the dough kind of stretch itself. We go once around, and after that, we do a little check. We feel the crust to see if there's any thin or thick spots. Add it to the peel. We're going to make the mushroom pie. So here we have creme fraiche, seasoned with 1% salt. Creme fraiche is basically slightly fermented cream, which gives it this acidic flavor, which mimics that acidic tomato. The reason tomato sauce works so great on pizza is because that acid kind of cuts through the salt and the fat and all of that. Next, we're distributing chopped portobello mushrooms, white onions. I don't think many pizza spots use creme fraiche. It's a quite expensive product to use, but it just happens to work really well for our flavoring. The pizza gets cut immediately when it comes out of the oven. There's steam trying to escape, and by cutting it immediately, it doesn't make the pie soggy from the inside. Next step is to put the pie on a screen. This prevents the pie gets soggy from the bottom. The steam has a place to go. This one we finish with porcini stock powder, which gives it a super, super rich mushroom flavor. Next, we're going to make the tomato pie. 1 scoop. We're launching the pizza on a stone that's roughly 570 degrees. The pizza that we just cooked here means that the deck cooled down to 520. Once you launch a cold pizza on a hot stone, basically the stone cools down. So then before you launch another pizza on that spot, you need to make sure that the stone is recovered back to its original temperature. Our oven as it stands here right now is the reason that we're limited to only being able to make 150 pies per day. The new oven we're trying to get is going to be 7 inches wider and 4 inches deeper. Will allow us to double our capacity. We're roughly 300 pizzas a day. For our tomato pie, there's no cheese on it. It's just Parmigiano tomatoes. We do usually finish it with Parmigiano Reggiano and a garlic-infused olive oil that we make. Now we are making the andouille pie. Andouille is a spicy Calabrian pork sausage. Traditionally, it's just 75% ground pork and 25% Calabrian chilies. Okay, so for this one, we'll do 1.5 scoops of the tomato sauce, small cubes of fresh mozzarella. It has quite a high moisture content, and if we were to shred it, it would just become impossible to use. And then next, we add scamorza cheese and aged mozzarella. This is the andouille that we were talking about. Beautiful, rich, spicy, deep flavor. For us, it's super important to use authentic andouille from Calabria. There's a lot of Calabrian chili in there, deep red colors.
It's 10:29. I just got back from the plumbing supply store. They didn't have the replacement knob that we needed, so we have a new entire sink assembly here. Talked to a plumber who was at the supply store who's working down the street. He's going to be by in the next hour or two. And hopefully sometime in the next 2 hours, we'll be able to do some dishes. It's 10:35. We got like 150 dough balls to roll before we can go back upstairs. So it's go time, I guess. Sort of now a race against the clock, just in terms of, us needing to be taking orders relatively soon, and also it being hot down here and the dough becoming more and more gassy. We have Julian slowly rolling the dough balls.
Slowly?
The guy at the plumbing store got really mad when I asked him if he could come right now.
Really?
Yeah, he got really upset.
You gotta do what you gotta do. So I just kind of use the bench scraper to make sure that there's not any rogue dough sticking and then use my pinkies to tuck it in. Use the bench scraper to pick it up. So this is an example of a hole that was created. So the chance that there's an air bubble building that will kind of eat its way through that dough ball is extremely high. So this is where it's like really important to kind of close it off and then put it in.
And yeah, we'll be standing here for the next 40 minutes or so, just making sure that all of our dough balls are consistent size and shape. So it's 11:28. Looks like the sink is going to get fixed later today. Dough balls are all rolled. Now it's time to take some orders. What can we do for you?
I'm gonna get 2 pies.
Yeah. And cheese pie?
Yeah.
So right now we're selling pies on a pre-order basis only, going all the way until 8 p.m. Hopefully sell a lot of pizza.
I think we just had like a very good working relationship. When you look for a business partner, you got to find someone who is better at certain things, and you complement each other really well. It's very much like an equal partnership here.
Thanks so much for spending the day with us, guys, but it's 11:56 and we got pies to make, so you got to go somewhere else.